My parents opened a barbecue restaurant when I was 12 years old. I began working for them before school, after school. I was a food prep person. I'd go in at 6 o'clock in the morning, make barbecue, go to school at 8. I helped make slaw, potato salad, learned it from the ground up, washed dishes. Got one of my worst spankings in the store. I wanted to go dove hunting, and my father was busy with a salesman, and by the time he got done with the salesman, the dove hunt was over, and it was too late to go, and I decided I'd start prep, and I chopped the cutting board with a knife, and my father thought I was just destroying it, so he tore my butt up in the store.
I was managing a hotel here in town in New Bern, and I had called Tommy Moore to do a catering for me. And when I called Tommy, which he'd done a few of my caterings, he was unable that day. So he'd asked me to call David, and so I did. David came and did the catering. It was a regatta, and I was out tying up boats. I'd been working all day, all night, stayed at the hotel, and I came in and I was soaking wet. And I went up to David because he was busy putting the food out. And I asked David, I said, can I have a hush puppy? I haven't ate. He said, well, the customers eat first and then the employees eat next. And I looked at him and I thought, oh, okay. So I sat down, got everybody checked in that was coming to the regatta with their tickets. And then when the night was over, David came up to me and said, who do I get to go pay the bill? And I said, well, you need to follow me to my office and I'll write you a check. That was the first.
I immediately went, uh-oh.
That was the first and last time David's ever walked behind me. And I went to the office, wrote him a check. He took his check. And then the next, I think Monday, he sent flowers apologizing for me not getting a hush puppy. So.
Well, when we thought about getting into a barbecue restaurant of our own, there was one name that always popped up, and it was the Moore's name, because it was my last name. I had known Tommy for a while. He had a good business. I knew that he was, probably wanting to retire. And we had a vision to grow the company, to make it a little bit bigger than it is, still be family owned, but, represent family values and carry on basically the tradition that his family had of looking after the customer, serving as fresh a product as you can, and, running a good restaurant. My father was sitting in his green chair that I have a picture of here on the wall. He was sitting in it, and my mom said, what are we going to call it? My mom said she wanted to name it Moore's. My father said, well, every time I go to the beach and go fishing, I pass by Moore's Barbecue, so we can't name it that. And that was Tommy's father.
The parts that I enjoyed when we decided to take on the Moore's brand and putting our brand together, working with our name and his name, is all the pictures on the wall and getting the history of every picture on the wall. So if you really want to know about every picture on the wall, I probably could tell you about the pictures on the wall. So that was something I enjoyed doing, making sure that the story was told and the history stayed within the Moores, creating two Moores, putting them together.
Chicken and rice soup was something that we took developed from our family. After Thanksgiving, after Christmas, we would take our turkey and make chicken and rice soup. That's where it came from. It is our recipe, our home recipe. We try and help a lot of different organizations. Veteran organizations are big to me. Masonic lodges, the Shrine Club. We support the schools. We want to be involved in our community at every location. What makes us a good company is the employees. I can't do it all myself. We have a lot of people that have worked for us for over 20 years. They've come with me and followed me. I've been real happy about that following, and we've developed some long-term relationships. We also developed some younger people that have gone on to, you know, higher jobs and better jobs to further their career. This is my mother and father on their wedding day. This is the car my father bought my mother as a wedding gift. She always said she knew the honeymoon was over because when she got home, he gave her the payment book. This is the chair that I was talking about earlier. We still had that chair when I was 12. That's me and my sister in my father's lap in it.
All the Moore family, that would be David's entire aunt and uncles with his father.
This is actually where we are sitting at right now. This store was built in 1970 here, 1972 with some additions. Give a tribute to people who have served in the military. My father is bottom right. Some of his buddies in Paris. People often ask my mother why she saved the picture of him in the airplane because he's with his girlfriend that he had in Paris. But she said it was always part of his history and she didn't want to ruin that.
This is another employee's, Caitlin's grandfather, and that's part of Caitlin's family.
My uncle was not old enough to join in World War II. My father was, and my uncle, he joined the Navy first, then got out of the Navy and went into the Air Force and wound up being the first college-educated person in our family.